Welcome back. In our last video, we were talking about the syllabus. This is something, a document that you develop, give the students right off the bat in the very beginning of the semester. For each of our sessions in the semester, we want to have something called the lesson plan. We want to talk briefly about lesson plans. I'll give you some ideas of why we need a lesson plan. What's the value of you putting that time and effort into having lesson plans for each of the sessions you're going to interact with your students? And then also what should be included in that lesson plan. So let's start about why. What benefit do you get from having these lesson plans set up for your module? It allows you to further improve your teaching and the lesson plan. So once you've done one or two or three and you've experienced that, you realize, well, I can do better. I can write that up in a different way. Provides an evaluation of my teaching compared with my objectives. So it allows me to go back and say, well, this is what I did in that session. Did it meet my objectives or not? I am better able to ask questions that engage my students. Now, I will tell you from my experience doing a lot of these kinds of in-class activities, these classroom assessment techniques, students are active, I'm active. It's not unusual for me to forget something important, either an important instruction, a certain timing of asking a question, those kinds of things. So having a lesson plan and kind of having that, not so much script, you're not writing out exactly what you're going to say, but recognizing, okay, after we do this activity, I need to make sure I ask them this question, or I need to make sure I tell them this point. So it allows you to do that. It works as a guide so that I can achieve the goal of the lesson within a limited time frame. So I'm not simply continuing on talking about something I was not planning to talk about. Stimulates me to think about my teaching in an organized way. So it's, as you'll see when we go through the lesson plan, it gives me exactly what I'm going to be doing during that session in an organized manner. And I am better able to understand the lesson's objectives and make my students understand them too. So we keep going back to those learning objectives. So I'm not getting off track talking about something else. I'm focusing on what needs to be accomplished in that particular session with my students. What do we have in that lesson plan? And this is at a minimum. It could be other things. You're welcome to put anything else in your lesson plan that you want. Module name and number, your name. So in terms of your name, for example, yes, it's mine, it's my module, but supposing then someone else comes along to try to teach that module. This gives them something, okay, so-and-so did this last time, and I'm going to do something similar, or I'm going to do something different, but it identifies that this is your lesson plan for that particular session. Lesson day and date, when is it going to happen? Duration, how long is this lesson going to be? A title for that, just a general title. Today we're going to talk about whatever the topic is. And then, of course, we go back to Bloom's taxonomy and our learning objectives and associated tasks for that lesson at that time. And those are, remember, coordinated with and aligned with your overall learning goals for your module, and those are aligning with your department and the campus and so on and so forth. Do I need any materials and equipment, special or different, for this lesson? Any references that I want to make sure I either share with my students or the references for me to go back to at some other point. Take-home tasks or homework that you may be giving the students. And then strongly suggest some sort of a grid like this where you have timing or time, an activity, and what resources. And what I've done is to fill this out just to give you a general idea what I'm talking about. If you're teaching a 2-hour session, say Tuesday, Thursdays, Monday, Wednesdays, whatever, 2-hour session, then you might say, okay, what are we going to do from 1 o'clock to 1:20, start of this session, we're going to do a defining features grid that reviews the last 2 lectures, and I'm going to have my students work in groups. What do I need for that? An activity handout, which is the defining features grid, so they can work on that. Then what we're going to do after the 20 minutes is I'm going to lecture. I'm going to lecture for 30 minutes. I need my notes, slides, whatever I might use to help me provide that lecture. Then they're either going to take a break or we're going to use 10 minutes to do a minute paper. Something very, very short, a very short classroom assessment technique. And if we do that, then we're going to need a handout. Okay, then we're going to come back and I'm going to give another 30-minute lecture. I need my notes and slides. And we're going to end up where I'm going to give them for about a half an hour, let them work on a concept map that covers the last several class sessions, and let them organize that information in some visual manner, as we've talked about with the concept maps. Again, working in groups or working individual, whatever the case may be. What do I need for that? Well, I need the words, I might need paper, I might need scissors, I might need tape, whatever resources I need to get that accomplished. So this lays out 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and so on. Exactly what I need to do and when I need to do it. So if I am lecturing and I go over here 40 minutes, well, then I need to make some adjustments here, don't I? Maybe I need to do something else at this point. So this lays out exactly what you're doing during that 2-hour teaching session. Now, I have an assignment for you. And this is, again, just like the syllabus, there's a template in your handout. And take that template, it's very similar to what I just went through in these last few slides, and set up a preliminary lesson plan for a session in your module. A couple points real quick. One is, you need a lesson plan for each time you're meeting with your students. What you'll find after you do a few of these is that you're replicating a lot of it. So 90%, 80% of what I did in this one, I can just replicate into the next one and make the modifications that are specific to that session. The same thing is true for coming back another semester. You've got these things in your file. You come back to them and say, well, I'm going to rearrange some of these lessons, modify them however you want, but you're not necessarily going back and starting all over from the very, very beginning. So they're very, very useful in a variety of ways. Good luck.